Good afternoon, Team Union. Coming to you from my office this morning, or this afternoon, first day back from the new year. But as promised, I am going to be recording the listing presentation and how to deliver it. My assumption with this is that you will have already met with the homeowners for the getting to know you portion of listing a property. So we're going to just act as if that's been done, and then we're moving into the listing presentation. The listing presentation class is every Monday at 5:30. That is a dedicated class on our calendar. So while I'm going through each page in the presentation, I'm not doing as in-depth with the wording that you would when you are sitting with the homeowner. So I just want to give you that little preface to begin with that. So let us get started, shall we? So I'm going to do a quick share of our screen. You're going to start in your Weichert tools. So you're going to start in your KV Core platform. You're going to go to Weichert tools, and then you are going to go into the presentation itself. I'm going to create the PDF so we can walk through it a little bit easier. But just to let you know, when you have the photos of the house and the rooms that you're going to use, you just add the photos here. It populates down here, and then you can just add them into the presentation as you go. So we're going to just create the PDF. This will just take a minute to pull everything up. This is very completely customizable, meaning you can add pages, you can deselect pages if there's something that you want to use or don't want to use, you can put that in there. And as I said, you're going to be putting in the pictures and the wording that you want on each page. So that's what makes this very different for you when you're sitting with that homeowner, because you're customizing it to what they talked about when you first sat with them during that getting to know you meeting, where you also learn about the house. So remember, always you need the front photo of the property. I can't tell you how many times I've done a listing presentation and had to double back to take the front photo because I was really good on the inside of it, but we're going to add that. Every page in this listing presentation has a close. And those are the things that we go over in our Monday class. But here, when you first open it up for them, whether you're opening it up with a physical portfolio for it, or if you are doing it online, ask them what do they think of the photo of their home. Because sometimes people just walk up to their house all the time and they kind of forget how beautiful their house looks, because all of this is setting it up for getting them to agree with you for something. You say, oh, what do you think of this photo? Oh, I really love that. Wow, that's my house. You're like, yes. And then as I put our marketing out for the buyers to see, then we'll definitely use this photo. If they say, well, no, I don't, I think it's kind of dark. Okay, great. I will retake the photo because I want to make sure that the buyers fall in love with your house the first time they see it. So the more you practice your dialogue, the more it will come to you in the moment. Here is really you're setting the stage of why you're there. So, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, what I'm going to be going over with you today is how I plan to market your home using Weichert's six-step selling system, 6-point selling system. And the key is to get the right buyer in who will be able to close at the time that we have in our contract. That's what my job is to do, is to make sure that we are marketing your property and getting you in front of as many buyers as possible. You're not staying long on every page. You don't have to read every word, but you need to know what it says so that you can tweak it as you need to. Here, we talk about the company. We are a family-owned company, Mr. and Mrs. Seller. Did you know that? They may say yes, they may say no. We're managed and run by Jim and James Weichert, and our company hasn't been in business since 1969. This is telling them this is not a fly-by-night company. This is not a company that they're seeing on the internet today that, disappears tomorrow. Let them know also, as a family-owned company, we treat our clients like family. And annually, we help over 200,000 customers to sell and purchase their homes. We've been doing this a long time. We know how to do it, and we do it right because we treat everyone like family. Then you move to the next page. Here is information about you as the best agent. This is why your bio is important, because you have this moment to let them know how you work. I am constantly in contact with my clients. Let me ask you, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, what is the best way you like to be communicated with? Is that a phone call, a text message, or an email? Because I want to make sure I'm keeping you updated on everything going on with the sale of your home. So if they say text, whatever, just confirm, that you have that piece of information, and that should be in your My Weichert system as well as your phone. So this is where you're just going to be talking about yourself. You could talk about, things you've sold in the area, whatever you want to add on there, because this is showcase yourself. It's important. Then we're talking about our team. When you're sitting with that seller, they're seeing just you. What you want to let them know is, behind me, I have a team that is going to help in the sale of your home and confirm that we're closing. We have our office manager, we have our mortgage advisor. There's different ways that you're pulling that in, but just let them know, I'm not alone. I have a whole team with me to help you. So we're all on the same page of getting you the best buyer, closing at the best price for you, and moving you on to your next journey. This page you can leave in or turn off. I left it in just so you could see it. We did a lot during the early part of the pandemic with virtual showings, virtual open houses. If there is a reason that you might need to do that, you still have this information available of how you're boosting properties, how you can do a live chat. And a lot of you are doing videos from houses, so this still might be something you want to include in that listing presentation. Here, I definitely don't want you to go into everything about all 6 steps from this page, because then what are the other pages for, really? So here, it's like, what we're going to do today is I'm going to go over how we will have a competitive advantage for you working with me as a Weichert agent. I'm going to show you how I make a listing compelling. I'm going to review our online marketing. I'm going to talk to you about my local and my global reach. I'm going to share with you how I run an open house program. I'm going to talk about the different home ownership solutions and what that means for you, as well as review pricing for your home. So let's get started with that. When we look at creating a compelling listing, what I mean by that, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, is I want buyers who usually shop first with their eyes to stop when they see your photos on my website, on my Facebook page, in my marketing materials, that they need to see this house. And we do that by having professional photography and also highlighting the unique features of your home. And that is why I do my 2-step process with you, because I want to learn more about your house, because I'm featuring the best pieces of your house. Your home, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, is beautiful. And I want the buyers to fall in love with the home the second they see it. So when I'm taking the pictures, and I will be bringing in a professional photographer for a specific reason. And let me ask you, and I'll go into that reason after you take a look at these 3 photos. There's the before photo, there's a better photo, there's a best. When you look at this, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, what jumps out at you? And let them answer. Because what they say, you then will pick up on. If they're like, oh, well, that first photo, it looks kind of cluttered, it's dark, and I can definitely see the difference. There's more light in the last one. And you say, exactly. That's why I will be scheduling a photographer. Because have you been looking online at homes? And they might say, sure. Have you seen photos that you wondered what room was that? They're like, oh yeah, I have seen some really dark ones, or this has happened. These are the gotcha little moments. And you say, great, this is why I make sure that photos are done properly. As an agent, it is important to me that my client's home is showcased in the best light. So that is a very nice way to say these other people out here are not taking the time to do that, or they're not willing to pay for the photographer. And if they ask you, well, who pays for the photographer? Well, I do. That's part of my marketing of your home. That's why it's very important to me that we get these great images out there. So they're looking like, oh, okay, this person is willing to do things. That makes a difference. And then I move into, well, my photographer is available Thursday at 3 p.m. or at 4:30. Which time would be better for you for them to come and take photos? Now, they might say, well, I could do 4:30. Then they're listing with you. Hello. So you might want to move right to paperwork and say, well, great, let's get our paperwork done. And I can call my photographer, we'll get everything scheduled. If they say, well, I'd like to see more, okay, you see what they're saying, and then you just kind of pivot. That's going to be the word of 2023. You pivot, because if they say, I'm ready to go on Thursday, I'm signing them right now so I can get everything scheduled. But if they don't, you keep going through. Here, we're going to talk about how we maximize their marketing online. And I'll ask them, do you do a lot of online shopping? Oh, yeah, I did a lot over the holidays. And I spent a lot of money, whatever they might be saying. But say, it's very important that we have a very strong online presence. And Weichert has set it up so that we do not miss any buyers. When someone goes on to Weichert.com, they go onto my office's website, they go onto my website, everything is pulling that buyer to your home. And we invest a lot of money to make sure that that happens, because you guys are family now. So we want to make sure that we get you into your new home. Notice I'm not spending a lot of time on each page, but I want to ask them questions as I go along so that it's more of a dialogue. That I want you to walk into this feeling like this listing is mine if I want it. So I talk about Weichert.com, that however people are looking for a home these days, they will be able to find you, because our website is a sticky website. So people stay on our website longer than any other website. And they're then able to contact us right away. So when someone calls our welcome center, they're speaking to a live person 7 days a week. And we answer the phone within an average of 3 minutes, because people want answers quickly. And I'd ask them, have you ever tried to call and ask a question when you're purchasing something, or even contacting your PSE&G? They're like, oh my God, yeah, I have to push this, wait for this person, give my number, wait for them to call me back. And I said, and doesn't that make you frustrated? Of course it makes you frustrated. And say that's why we have our sales coordinators 7 days a week, so that buyers can reach someone right away, because it takes 15 and a half hours to respond to leads from other companies. And that's unacceptable. So that is why we are very focused on making sure we are not losing any buyers. Locally, I do a lot of word of mouth. I do a lot of business in this area, whatever it might be. And I talk to buyers. I talk to neighbors. We do broker open houses. We do neighbor calls to generate interest, and good old-fashioned mailers as well. So this is how I'm looking to capture local market, because there are so many buyers out right now, but they don't all know what's going on. So I try to make sure that I am educating buyers on the buying process. And as they do that, they're going to see your home, because that's why we put out a for sale sign. That's why we do door knockers. That's why this mailer I have for something that's just listed. So your home will be the one that's out there. We also have a very large transferee part of the business. Weichert has a relocation company. And I would ask them, do you know that Weichert has a relocation company? And they're probably going to say no, that they didn't know that. So, well, we work with other organizations who move their associates. Either they're buyers coming into the area, sellers leaving the area. But we operate globally as well as locally. So the associates who are members of these companies, including the federal government, are only working with Weichert agents in the purchase of a home. If the federal government trusts Weichert to move its associates, I think, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, that says a lot about our organization. Would you agree? Give them an opportunity to answer. Then we talk about our open house program. We do open houses differently than others. Have you watched some of the reality shows on real estate, Mr. and Mrs. Seller? Oh, yeah, they just have people wandering through houses. So, well, I do not do that for several reasons. One of which is the security of your home. I would never allow someone to just walk through unescorted. So I make sure that I and any agents with me are walking them through, because we're also asking questions about their interest in purchasing the home. We advertise it with our open houses online. We put out 8 signs, we put out balloons, we make it a party because we want people to feel welcomed coming into this home and see who is motivated to make an offer. I follow up with everyone who attends my open house within 24 hours. And if there is someone who has interest, I work with them to schedule a private tour of the home. What I would also bring with you is a lockbox, because you want them to see that you are not using a combination lockbox. And I would say it is very important to me that when we've done our listing paperwork today, that you will feel secure in having me as your agent. Part of that is I use a Supra lockbox. This lockbox can only be opened by a licensed realtor. You may see, some other lock boxes on homes, but a combination is only good as the last person who got the number. So I make sure that, we're only having licensees come in with their clients to view your home. And you can see why that's important, right? Let them answer. And then here we're just talking more about what you do in your open house, that your mortgage advisor is going to be providing you with affordability scenarios for them. And you have your brochures. And I would bring things along, bring some of your past materials from open houses, because you want to keep advising them and letting them know that it's going to be a seamless process. And you are there to help make sure that happens, as well as your team. Why going over the mortgage advisor is important for them? Because they're also going to be purchasing, or they know someone who's purchasing. So you can say, my mortgage advisor can help you on the purchase of your new home in Florida or wherever it may be. If they have friends, relatives who are looking to purchase, let's get that done. And that your mortgage advisor is making sure that buyers know what is going on with that home. What is the monthly cost of that home? So we also want to have clear title. We want the experience to be a safe and timely one for all parties involved. So that is where you're going over that with this page. And this is just showing them what the payment scenario would look like. Here, I'm just going to pause for a moment. The PTA pricing tool, I do not bring it out at this point, because the minute you start talking about money is the minute they stop listening to anything else. What I do is I let them know I have created for you a price trend analysis. This tool has an algorithm where It helps us to price to the future. The last thing you want is to price to the past. So I'm going to review that with you separately. And then I move on. And here is another opportunity to talk about you as the neighborhood specialist. What makes you different? What do you do? What is your motto? What's your, I guess your motto is the best way to say it for working with clients. So you want to go through that. You're giving them the Weichert 1 booklet and I pull out this Candyland chart, as we call it, say these are the steps that we're going to go through together in the sale of your home. And I'm with you to the very end because we're friends for life. And your pledge, this is where you really want to find out what is the best way for them and you to work together, what works, and you want to make sure that that's what you're following up with. And then you're just kind of reviewing, as a quick jump start, this is where we are right now. The next thing to do is we're going to get the photographer in on Thursday. I'm going to schedule our first open house for this Saturday and Sunday. We have, I have all of our paperwork, however you're going to do that part. And, or you're going to email it to them or send a DigiSign it to them from SkySlope, however you are giving them their information. But that's just a quick recap and always a thank you. And I'm looking forward to the sold sign going up in front of your home and help you on your journey to the next place that they're going to be living. So that's just kind of a quick overview of the listing presentation. And again, that class is every Monday at 5:30. I recommend if you have not had a listing that you come to it. If you have had listings, but it's been a while since you've had to present the listing presentation and price trend analysis, I would recommend that you come to that class. It is a piece where anyone's going to be able to pull something out of it that maybe they haven't done or haven't thought of, or especially if you want to add some different pages in. So I thank you for your attention and I look forward to seeing you this coming Monday at class. Bye now.